All right, guys, welcome back to another Master and Apprentice video and podcast. We've got a lot of news to talk about today. This isn't even really news. It's like announcements. It's stuff that if you're in, like the know of Marvel and just a fan, you've probably seen all of this, but I feel like we needed to cover it at the very least. There's a bunch of new trailers. I definitely advise go check them out. We got our first look at Vision Quest. That looks pretty interesting. I've got to say, out of all of the Disney Plus projects when it comes to Marvel, the WandaVision, that stuff has probably been my favorite. I like Daredevil season 2 a lot, but everything that's been connected, like I didn't really like Moon Knight. I didn't really like any of the other stuff. Hawkeye was okay. I wasn't a big Loki fan, but WandaVision and Agatha, I really like the connectivity of like the story and the plot, and it's going to kind of wrap up with Vision Quest, and I'm really excited to see that. And I think from all intents and purposes, it's going to have some story beats that connect into Secret Wars. So that's cool. So go check out that trailer. And then obviously Avengers Doomsday's trailer. We get another really great look. This is the one that we didn't get to see, but it was at SDCC. Looks fantastic. Super, super, super cool. But the big news I want to talk about is the X-Men. And this was, I think, what most fans expected to see and hear from during SDCC. But once that didn't happen, it became very clear it's going to be coming to D23. And as part of the course, it did. Now, we get a bunch of details, but the thing to kind of caveat on top of all this, Kevin Feige, all the leakers, reporters, this is not it. There's way more, and they are planning to reveal it as time goes on when it comes to the cast and all of that. So very, very cool, very, very interesting. But they give us our cast of characters, some of the big characters, and a date, May 5th, 2028. And I believe this is the first movie after Secret Wars. Secret Wars is supposed to be coming out end of 2027, December, right? So a year after Doomsday, December of 2026. We get Secret Wars late 2027, and then not but a couple months later, we get X-Men. And we already know we have 2 other movies set for 2028, Ghost Rider and Black Panther 3. But to start it all off, we're going to go with X-Men. And we don't know a lot about it, obviously, but even with the cast reveal, I think is very showing. We obviously see Sadie Sink on stage as Jean Grey. Now, if you've watched Spider-Man, it's not a spoiler at this point. It's just there on Phase Front, but it's cool to see like this is going to be surviving into the next phase. It's not just a play on the character. This is one of the main characters. Kit Connors as Cyclops. During the casting for Cyclops, there's a lot of like this actor is it, this actor is it. Kit Connor was one of those actors who was in the running. It's cool to see get confirmation for him. I think he looks perfect. Just seeing his facial structure. Cyclops is one of those characters you really need to do a lot. You just got to be kind of handsome and skinny, right? I mean, his nickname from Logan is Slim, so he can't be chunky, right? He can't be fat. But he's like a generic white dude, and so it's really not a hard role to cast. It's more about the acting, like, and the talent and the chops. And I can't wait to see what this guy provides. Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. This is, I think, a brilliant casting. She's gorgeous. Emma Frost to be thrown into the first movie is kind of cool because if you've been any sort of Emma Frost fan or just X-Men fan, she isn't, like a legacy character. She's still relatively new, like from the 90s forward, but like those old X-Men stories, she wasn't always a part of it. And she was introduced, but she didn't play part of the X-Men team. So it's very curious to see how she'll play a part in this movie. Indy Navarrete, I think is how you pronounce it. She's obviously the big role from Obsession, and she's going to play Rogue. And we've been hearing a lot of, talk that she wanted to be part of the MCU. She said it herself in interviews that she had a meeting with, I already forgot his name, but the director for Jake Schreier for the movie, and that she even name-dropped Mystique. So a lot of fans thought, oh, if she's name-dropping Mystique, that's probably who she's playing. And no one saw Rogue. There was a lot of other actresses that were in the running for Rogue. This kind of came out of left field. I don't think this is what anyone expected. I think it's really cool. We obviously know she's got brilliant acting ability. I'm very interested to see how they set her up, give her the white highlights and all of that. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Maya Boyd as Storm. I don't know much about Maya Boy. I went to try to find a little bit about her. I don't recognize any of her projects, so this can be a complete unknown as well. I think she looks brilliant. I can't wait to see what she does. Christopher Abbott as Professor X. It's kind of hard to tell because he's not bald and he's standing up, and so we're like missing half of what he's going to look like. But I'm excited to see what we see from him. Obviously, one of the pivotal parts of the whole X-Men story, especially setting it up. And then Adam Driver, we had heard originally Magneto, and then really quickly, about a couple days later, we heard Mr. Sinister. And then even after that, we were starting to see leaks for Sebastian Shaw. So we didn't really know at that point. We thought, okay, maybe not Magneto, but maybe not even Mr. Sinister. We don't know. But we get a confirmation. Mr. Sinister, I think that's awesome. I think that's really, really cool. Mr. Sinister is one of those characters who's kind of like always there, right? He's kind of like Ultron, where like he keeps finding a way to come back, because he keeps cloning himself. He keeps finding copies of himself. So even after you think you've completely beat him, defeated, and killed all of his copies, there's some other strand of his DNA out there, and he copies, and it's very cool that he gets cast in this role, because that means he's very potentially got a long future with the MCU, and Adam Driver I think is brilliant. So that's super, super, super exciting. Now, the only other thing to mention with all of this is we obviously saw, I forget exactly when it was. I think it was D23 last year, maybe. It was a leak, but the concept art for the X-Men, right? It was kind of like a black and white penciled concept art, and we got the whole lineup of the X-Men. Now, this was a supposedly real concept leak, but obviously, like half of the characters that were in that concept art leak aren't here, and vice versa. There was no Emma Frost in there, right? There was no Mr. Sinister. Professor X wasn't even in that. It had characters like Colossus, Nightcrawler, Angel. So we're missing some key characters. Now, what that means, who actually really knows? Maybe we see some of those characters cast later on. Maybe we see those characters saved for later projects. That's kind of the cool thing about the X-Men, is they're kind of always adding new characters to the ranks, always adding new characters to the school. So that's potentially really, really cool. That maybe we're not going to see it. Maybe we are. You don't know. So very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. It's exciting to get this cast so you can just kind of picture who these guys are, and I'm really excited. Personally, when they said Adam Driver as Magneto, I'm like, I don't see it, but I'll trust the process, because oftentimes I've seen those actors where I'm like, I don't know if I see them being that character, but then it's like,
You're the only person who thought that.
I know. I watched our video, and then I looked online. I'm like, everyone's like, this is perfect, and I'm like, fair enough, but whatever. But I mean, if you Mr. Sinister, I feel like is a perfect match. Like, it looks exactly. I mean, not exactly, of course, but I mean, I think that he looks very similar to what Adam Driver looks like. So I think that one's gonna be excellent. Yeah, I'm really excited for this, and as you said, there's gonna be more coming in the future. So it'll be cool to see what other characters they add. And I mean, MCU is they're not shy to take big names, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's another few big names to add to this list that are going to be other X-Men down the line.
Yeah, no, and this is a big movie, all for the reason of this is what the future of the MCU is going to be, right? It's kind of hard to keep making these Avengers movies when the actors are getting closer to 50 and 60. You're going to have to turn and shift from that, and for the time being, it looks like that future is X-Men. And so they cast a lot of these actors very, very young, in their 20s, right? So that's very telling that this is the future. And I've got to say, Jake Schreier's brilliant. Thunderbolts is probably my favorite Marvel movie in the last 5 years. I liked it better than Spider-Man Brand New Day. I liked it better than Fantastic Four. I liked it better than Deadpool Wolverine. The only movie that's in the running for against it is maybe Spider-Man No Way Home or Far From Home. Whatever the third one is, No Way Home. But besides that, it's like one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's like a top 5 or top 10 Marvel movie. And so for him to be put on this new, like the catalyst for the new turn for the MCU is very, very exciting for me. I can't wait to see what this turns out. I can't wait to see what other characters we're missing, what other roles are going to be out there. And I also can't wait to see how they're set up, because obviously Jean Grey was set up in a way that was supposed to be out in front. Like, she's going to be a character we're going to see so much of, and that's why they set her up in one of the biggest movies ever, Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? That was on purpose. They did that on purpose. And so I feel like we're going to be seeing more of that with, maybe people like Cyclops or Professor X, where they're not just going to all of a sudden be revealed for the first time in X-Men. They're going to, maybe see them in Secret Wars or Doomsday. And so I'm excited to see how they appear. And I'm excited to see all of that. So very, very cool stuff. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys excited for, what you're most excited for, what you're, maybe not excited for, all of that. What do you guys think about the Doomsday trailer, the Vision Quest trailer, all of that stuff? And anything else, Afton?
That's really it for me.
All right, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.